let go of his hands. Now he's trying to lock.
Whoa, whoa. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, oh, oh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Tell me what you really, really want.
Ouch. That's got to hurt. Oh, have you seen a knockout like that before?
No, that was like David and Goliath.
Hey, so what did that feel like? I mean, walk us through that moment.
It was just the culmination of, you know, like all like my entire career, just everything paying off in like one moment. Just it almost felt I've even said like a video game. Like I saw
Really?
that glowing, shining moment. That's why you saw there was no hesitation when I heard him with the first hook. I jumped back and I just saw him hurt. Everything that went through my mind in that moment just made me like pull the trigger immediately.
So how many times do you think he's looked at that tape? Right?
I don't think enough because I don't think he's fixed stuff from that fight.
Really?
I still see things that he does, like similar mistakes, even in his last victory. And obviously, credit where credit's due. I was still leaning towards Sue in that fight, and all things considered, but he pulled it off and everything. But I still see holes in his game that I could take advantage of.
Really? Really?
100%.
Wow. So should that be you fighting him next?
It should be. I think he's scared of the rematch. I really think he's avoiding it with everything he's got. I feel like, you know, like he's a champion. You know, he's asking for like, you know, trying to get these other easier type of fights. And like I said, credit where credit's due. You know, he has taken tough fights as well. But like, you know, this Thurman one, Thurman's not as active. Yes, he's a former champion and stuff, but he dictates who he's fighting right now. And he doesn't want to, you know, like we say in Spanish, like quitarse la espina de la espalda. He doesn't like get the thorn out of his side. You know, like how are you gonna get knocked into like another planet and then just ignore it, act like it never happened?
Walk away
before?
like it was nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So I'm
no,
definitely pushing for that.
I'm sure I'm sure he has to relive that in his mind every night. I would. I mean, that wasn't, you know, just a regular knockout. Like he felt that. I mean, he felt your power. In fact, that entire fight, I think he felt your power. You know, the first couple rounds, I knew you were going to win the fight because you were coming with that overhand right.
Yeah.
Right. I just knew because I watched. You know, when I watch with the sound off because I really want to see, pay attention. Right. That's how I watch boxing. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, you were just with that overhand right, and I just knew early on by the third, fourth, I'm like, oh, it's just a matter of time before he connects. You went ahead and what started it was the overhand right. It was that left hook, followed by the overhand right. But
yeah, it was all a setup, through the whole fight, and I actually saw PBC just uploaded it to YouTube on like last Saturday, a few days ago.
Really?
Yeah, and so I watched a few rounds, kind of going through it, and like the first three, I was doing even better than I thought, back then, because it was all about, closing the range, chopping that tree down, just, taking my time, because you can't just, take someone out like that, one shot. That's not a first round type of knockout. At least, that's not what I was envisioning. And I always knew I was going to be able to find that shot. I always bring up the homie Mike Fox that I brought in for sparring for that fight. And I caught him a few times with it, not that as dramatic as that, but I was catching him a few times in sparring with that, and he's a very slick fighter, very difficult. He uses that range and height to his advantage, as Fundora should, but doesn't. And so I always said in sparring, like, I'm catching it with it. I'm catching it. Every now and then,
Nice.
like finding those spots, as difficult as Mike Fox is to hit. So I said, if I can hit him with it, I can hit Fundora, who is there to be hit.
yeah.
And that was that belief. That's why, even through like the middle rounds when we did kind of, it started getting rough, I'm getting caught with those uppercuts and everything. I didn't care because I knew I was going to land that shot.
Nice.
So you mentioned so many things crossed your mind in that moment. I can only imagine how emotional that must be in a matter of like seconds. What was going through your mind?
Just everything you envision from the time like you're an amateur, you have all these big dreams and goals and stuff, and it was like that manifestation of that physical moment where like I have the opportunity to grasp it, to take that, and it's just a build up. And then so there's that side of it. There's the side where I remember when Lubin had Fundora hurt, and Fundora took a knee, came back, and then just demolished him. So in that split second, I also remembered that. I was like, you're not going to come back. I'm not going to let you take a knee and recover. So
This
that's
is it.
Yeah. So it's like the positive, you know, like this is my chance, you know, and it's also that you're not going to recover from this. I'm going to make sure you stay hurt and stay down.
Wow.
So it's just such a mix of all these things, positive, negative, possibly, and just taking advantage of that golden opportunity.
Was it slow motion? Did you feel like it was slow? It was. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think you can even tell in like the knockout, because the fact that I was able to just jump back in and land that big right hand and even the left hook as he was coming down. Yeah. I was in the air when I landed that second left hook. And so, yeah, just the pinpoint accuracy, you know, everything, just the timing on it. It had to be slow motion for me.
Wow. So PBC uploaded, you said, just recently onto YouTube. Why do you think they did that?
Hopefully to remind people, you know, it's back to they're trying to act like, you know, Fundora is so difficult to beat. He's his boogeyman. And I feel like I'm his boogeyman at this point, because he will not mention me. He will not bring it up or anything. He just act like it doesn't happen. And like I said, you know, he's trying to take these other... I won't call Thurman a tune-up fight. He's a very difficult fight. Former champion for a reason, but it's just that's not the type of fight. I feel like he should be trying to clear his name. You know, he has that one loss, and it was a dramatic loss. I feel like that's, you know, what he should be trying to get off his back.
Oh yeah. So Thurman, what do you see happening with Thurman?
That's gonna be very interesting.
Is age gonna have something to do with it?
We're going to find out. You know, I saw the Thurman's fight with that Brock Jarvis, comeback fight he had in Australia. And he looked, you know, relaxed, composed. He still looks sharp and everything, but there's obviously levels to this. So we are going to find out. With Thurman, you never really know. You know, like he still looked better than we expected when he fought my homie Mario Barrios.
Yeah, that's right.
He still looked sharp then. You know, people thought he was going to look older. And now with Brock Jarvis. So Thurman's hard to get a read on. He might, you know, just still, you know, be able to pull off one more, but at this point, you know, I'm gonna lean more towards Fundora because of, you know, just the overwhelming, just the amount of volume that he puts together. So I'll still lean towards that way, but I can't have like a deciding factor really in that fight.
Really? So Tim Tszyu, what do you think with this recent fight? We were sitting ringside. That was brutal.
That was so brutal. I saw that in slow motion as well. That was very brutal.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that one, it still kind of confuses me because I'm not sure what happened. Obviously, he was eating big shots, you know, and everything, but when you fight Fundora, you're gonna eat big shots.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go in there unscathed. Even Thurman, you know, with all of his lateral movements, I feel like he's still gonna be catching shots, and I don't know. Like I thought, Tszyu was still having moments, even in that round, that final round where he threw the towel, or his corner did.
You thought he was going to come back, and
I still thought he was having his moments. And like I said, you know, like when I go in there with Fundora, one advantage I have is I don't care. Go ahead and like hit me. I'm going to come out on top. It's like a determination where like I never like once where you look back at the highlights, even like when he's hitting me, I'm never like looking broken. Every time the round ended, you know, take a deep breath, go to the corner, calm. I know what I'm here to do.
Yeah, but your lateral movements, I mean, that played a big role. And again, that's another reason why I watch, you know, with the volume off. I really want to see.
I appreciate that, by the way.
You dodged a lot, right? I mean, he connected a lot. Yeah, he was throwing some big punches too. But that lateral movement, you were just on point that night.
Yeah, I did definitely work on a lot of, you know, the head movement, the lateral movement, and it was kind of funny because to get an angle on Fundora, it's like two angles at once.
Yeah, that
just
reach.
The one, and all he has to do is just barely turn over. So, you know, and I give a lot of praise to my strength and conditioning coach, Tony Brady, for that one too. Because I had the gas tank to be able to just keep doing the angles, He gave me the gas tank to use the boxing ability and everything that I had worked on with Salas. So it all came together. You know, I'm never one to, you know, just give strength and conditioning, because I know a lot of people do that today. They just want to be in better shape than the next guy. Yeah. But I put the boxing with the strength and conditioning. It all just blended together perfectly. But yeah, no, I'm not trying to eat 12 rounds of those shots. As determined as I am, you know, like nobody wants to.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Absolutely intense. You're always here. Every time I'm here, you're always training. Always. I feel like there's no break for you, and you're always covered in sweat.
Yeah.
This is your secret here is like to always stay in shape. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
Exactly.
What does that look like for you? What does the training for that even look like? I can't even imagine to be able to keep up for that long.
Well, and plus, on top of that, you came in with 10 days notice. Well, actually, how much notice did you come in with Fundora? That was short notice as
With
well.
Fundora, I had the full notice. It was the
Rosario.
10-day notice was for Rosario.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, and that was another golden moment type of thing. He was supposed to fight my old teammate Yoelvis Gomez, and then Yoelvis had an injury that they had to pull him out of the fight, and they weren't even going to give me the Rosario fight. I had to tell my manager, my advisor, Luis de Cubas Jr., I had to tell him, like, please get me that fight.
Advocate for me, yeah.
Yeah, after we talked about it, after the fight and everything, he told me that he pushed for that fight because he could hear in my voice how bad I wanted it. It was just another thing, like the universe aligning, just everything. Like, I need that fight, that opportunity. That's what's gonna get me over to that next level, and it was. So yeah, that was my 10-day notice story, and then it was back on. I did have a full camp for Fundora.
Okay.
And I mean, yeah, full camp, but by the time I was able to bring in the sparring and everything, it was down to like 5-ish weeks or something. But
that's close.
Still
Wow.
plenty
Close.
of time. Yeah, still plenty of time for what I'm kind of used to, because there's a lot of fights I have been called for, like 2 weeks, 10 days. There has been a lot of that. So 5 or more, 6 or more is a happy.
You're
a
always
happy place
you're
to
always
be.
in shape. Is
Yeah,
that fair to say?
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, you look like it. Like you said, right? We
Yeah,
see you
you're
down there all the
always
time.
here. You're always training.
My confidence comes from that. The only times I've gotten nervous in fights is when I'm not training. Like say like an injury or whatever happened,
Yeah.
and then you get that last minute call. Those ones, like you get nervous in that fight because you're like, all right, we're gonna have to figure this out.
Yeah.
Depending on 10-12 round fight. But no, my confidence comes from knowing I've put in the work. I've worked harder, more consistent, everything than this other guy. So that's where that comes from.
You mentioned confidence. That's definitely mental. Most people think that boxing is very physical and that it's all physical. Obviously, for very, very obvious reasons, it's extremely physical. But it's actually more mental than physical. What a lot of people
100%.
don't know, that it's actually 80% mental and 20%
yeah, for sure.
physical. It's a lot more mental than it is physical.
Yeah.
You mentioned your confidence. What else would you say has helped build that mental part?
Over the years, so my work ethic, like anytime, like I even start like thinking nervous thoughts, like I'll get them in like shadow box, like I remember the reporters and stuff were laughing when I was getting ready for that Sioux fight. They were asking me kind of like other things I do, and I was like, I shadow box in the shower. Like I don't sing in the shower, I can shadow box. Like the amount of like epiphanies I've had in the shower, just shadow boxing. Oh, this angle, like okay, like when I do this, it's really like, I don't want to be cliche, but it is a lifestyle. It's like always thinking about it, that obsession. That's where like all that stuff kind of comes into play. But a lot of meditation over the years, just learning that stuff, just locking in. Meditation mixed with everything that comes with that, like manifesting, just talking to the universe,
Huge.
just putting it out there.
Yeah.
I'm very big on that, and I do think that manifesting, meditation just reinforces the mental, because you could even say it's over 80%.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a huge factor. So I definitely focus a lot on that, on the mental
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So speaking of that, you're in Australia, right? And that was a tough loss. I mean, how do you come back from that mentally?
Just locking in and literally right back to the gym. As soon as I'm healed up, I'm trying to be active. I'm trying to do stuff, and soon after that, I started sparring again. So it still took a few months and everything, but that was when I decided it might have been time for me to make a change as far as trainers.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That's right.
'cause like you guys have just said, I'm always in the gym and everything. So I felt like I wasn't learning as much anymore.
Something
like I
new.
kind of hit a plateau. And for as much as I work, that drives me crazy. Like I can't be doing something like for this many hours every day
To stay
and
the
feel
same.
stagnant. Exactly. So that was kind of what it was, and it's never to take anything away. I won a world title, with Ismael Salas and my team back there, but it just felt like I needed a reset, a fresh start.
Yeah.
I love
And-
that you mentioned that. I think that's extremely relatable to anybody, right? You don't have to be a boxer to relate to that. How many of us stay comfortable staying in the same job for X amount of years?
Exactly.
You waste your life, working X amount of hours to stay
Yeah.
in the same place, to not
That comfort
advance,
zone
to
is a
not learn
killer.
any comfort zone. Absolutely, yeah.
Does the fight back in Australia with Tim Zooey, I mean, let's touch on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought, I mean, up until about the 6th, 7th round, I mean, I just thought you were in the game. It was that those later rounds.
Yeah.
How does that replay in your mind? I mean, what are you doing different to prepare?
No.
I mean, just now going forward, or are you past that? It's over. You're moving on to bigger and better things. And you know what? Sometimes a loss like that isn't a bad thing. You know, I tell fighters that all the time. Hey, sometimes it opens up opportunities. You know, things can come from it.
Yeah, I am a silver lining type of person. I do always try to look at that side of it. But it was just, like I said, like, what am I not learning? What am I not getting? Because I did see a bunch of flaws in his game as well. And I was like, why couldn't I capitalize? Because, you know, like you said, like early in the fight, I was definitely having moments and stuff like that. But I couldn't walk away with the fight. I couldn't get that you know, just build that lead that I was looking for. And the traps I was setting, because now people found out I'm a real power puncher. So I don't have that element of surprise anymore.
Of course.
Fundora thought he was going to walk through me. Rosario, they thought they got me off the couch because it was a 10-day notice. So, you know, these fights, they weren't, it was an element of surprise that I don't have anymore.
Yeah.
So now I'm with, you know, Rich Barrientos. We worked with Bob Santos and stuff, and we're working on technique, on the strategy side of it, you know, just stuff like that, because I can fight, I can box, you know, I can do all that stuff, but, you know, what do I need to focus on? So it's a lot of little details, a lot of like monotonous, you know, like day-to-day things I'm focusing on. And then the mentality is just, this is what I love to do. You know, there's going to be ups and downs. And even though I was down after the Sioux fight, I wasn't as down as I was before. You know, I always talk about how before the Rosario fight, I was a swing bout on that was actually Sue Gaucher on their undercard. Swing bout, everybody's leaving. There's like a 25% of the crowd still there. And they're practically taking down the ring. So I went from that to, you know, winning a world title, traveling across the world, you know, to fight for more world titles, you know, still living that dream, chasing it. So
dodging kangaroos.
Exactly.
So you mentioned Rich Barrientos, Bob Santos. Those are two big names, right? And what's the chemistry like with those two guys? I mean, Bob is the Ring Magazine 2022 Ring Magazine and Sports Illustrated Trainer of the Year.
Exactly.
Rich, you know, he has multiple guys that he's worked with, world champions that he's worked with. So how's that chemistry?
It's honestly great. You know, I clicked, you know, with them right away. I knew Bob from even when I used to train at Salas's. We had met a little more back then, but, you know, obviously here we were working together more. And then with Rich, we clicked right away. We have even like our families have kind of gotten along and everything. It's just a similar chemistry, and I'm very big on chemistry, not just in boxing but in life. Like, you have to have chemistry with whoever you're dealing with, whoever you know, whatever's going on. And so so the chemistry allows me to lock in. I fully believe in what we're working on and everything, and it's just like, you know, like I keep saying, just day to day, just I don't come in the gym as much, even though you see me drenched in sweat every time. I don't come to the gym just to sweat. I'm trying to learn something every single day, or get better at something that is just every single day. Like, you have to improve somehow.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned chemistry. I'm very curious. I know what that looks like in relationships, romantic relationships, but what does that look like in a professional relationship? Like, what would you say are some red flags for a trainer?
Some red flags, sometimes if they don't truly like stick with you, if they'll kind of blow you off a little, sometimes you see it, or like maybe you're asking either for a suggestion, you're giving some type of advice, you know, like say for me at this level, I've learned so many things, you know, I've come up to like Rich and stuff, and I'll be like, hey, like, what do you think about this? And he doesn't take it as I'm like, hey, like, I know something better from somewhere else, because some people will just be like talking to a wall. So being able to like bounce ideas off each other without it being like, oh, I know this, or like, oh, like, you don't know that.
I'm better than you.
Exactly, yeah. Just being able to like communicate. The chemistry creates true communication and trust. When I'm told something in the corner, I have to be able to trust that you know what you're doing. You know, it's...
Absolutely, your life is on the line.
Exactly, literally on the line. So there's a lot of that. And it's just, so yeah, the chemistry, the trust, communication, it's all blended together.
Same thing as a romantic relationship, not too off.
In some ways, I wouldn't call it that, you know, but yeah, we could put it that way.
Okay, well, speaking of romantic relationships, are you dating anybody? What's going on in that department?
I mean, I'm currently single. So,
okay.
Yeah, so put it at that.
Want to put your number up?
Yeah. Nah, you know, low key with it.
Nice, good for you.
And I mean, to kind of bring it back to boxing, I am extremely focused on this right now. Like I said, there's ups and downs and like the boxing career and stuff, and I'm very heavily focused on getting back on that up trajectory. I got my comeback tune-up fight in Mexico actually on July 4th. Yeah. So I'm very heavily focused on that, and yes, there's ups and downs, but I want my career to be mostly ups. I definitely want to have, leave a legacy behind, something that, a story I can really tell when the whole story is told.
Nice. So what's in the pipeline?
That's the thing, I should be in another big fight before the year's out. And the team's been working on, like Luis Lacupas Jr., I have heavy trust in him. He's the one that changed my career completely around.
Gave you the opportunity.
Exactly, so I've told him personally, but yeah, I've given him credit, for changing my life because he's given me these opportunities. He didn't have to give me the Rosario fight. He didn't have to push for the Fundora fight, like all these ones, which I guess kind of goes back to almost chemistry in a way, like I've liked working with him and he's brought me great opportunities. So that's the thing. So I have full trust in him, and we should be in another big fight before the year's out. I don't have anything, concrete, but
if you could pick someone today to fight,
yes,
who do you want to fight? Because I've heard you say multiple times, I don't care. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
I'll fight anybody. I'll fight anybody anytime, any place. I've heard that multiple times, and I believe it.
Yeah.
You will. So, but there's someone out there you're thinking of. I mean,
the obvious answer is I really want the Fundora fight. I would sign that contract right now.
In a heartbeat, huh?
Exactly. And so like my answer is normally outside of that, as bad as I want to fight Fundora again, it's just anybody with titles. I know Tellez, the Cuban, he's got the WBA interim.
Yeah.
And Crawford, I don't believe he's going to be coming back to 54 because he's got the WBA full.
Yeah.
There's Virgil Ortiz has a WBC interim, and even Bakram, he's got the IBF, and I would fight him. I know he's turned into a boogeyman, and there's actually a lot of respect. Every now and then we'll even send each other messages. We obviously speak very different languages, but congrats, this and that, because I sparred him when I was working with Mario Barrios in Oakland for the Thurman fight. It was one of the days, he asked for some work, and we got some rounds in. It was really good work, and so that one's respectfully, but I would definitely fight him. It's a world title fight.
Yeah.
You would actually fight Crawford if you had the opportunity?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
my
fight
gosh.
anybody, anytime, any
I
place.
want that level of confidence.
Anytime, any place,
They got two hands, everything's possible.
Yeah, you don't see it with a lot of fighters anymore. It's like everyone's just,
wow.
they're, I don't want to say they're dodging, no disrespect to people, but, everyone's kind of just handpicking who they want.
It's dodging.
Yeah, it's dodging.
Yeah.
It's exactly. Okay, well, what would you tell Fundora? If Fundora was sitting here right now, what would you tell him?
Sign the contract. You need to fix that. I'm the only one that I took your undefeated record, took the belt from you and everything, and you cannot just act like that happened. That level of a knockout, the WBC, the belt that you have, they awarded me knockout of the year.
Yeah, of course.
For that year. So I'm like, that's you got to feel some type of way about that. I personally wouldn't be able to let that slide, but we'll see.
Whew, that one's spicy.
Damn, those are some big words.
Yeah, those are some really big words, right? Well, I'm really excited for whoever that may be. I'm really excited. I haven't personally had the honor of seeing you live in person. I've only seen the reruns. I would absolutely love to be there because I think you have another knockout, whoever it may be. Now that you mentioned T, but I would love to see that. But what are your opinions on that? Who do you got on that fight?
You said the Crawford?
Crawford Canelo?
On Crawford Canelo.
That one, I really still feel like the size is going to be a factor.
I think so too.
And yes, I know Crawford is actually bigger than Canelo, but carrying around that weight on fight night, that's why a lot of times when you see guys move up, they still want to tune up at that weight. And we're not, going from say 114 to 118.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's not 4 or 5 pounds anymore. These are 7,
big
8.
boys.
Yeah. These are big jumps. He's going up 2 weight classes, I believe. And those are jumps that you really should respect. But the fact that I even just saw he's doing a media blackout until the fight, so I know he's locked in.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just heard that yesterday. Unless it's not true, but I saw some people posting about that. I guess he's doing a blackout training. Only the close people. So I know he's really locked in. I don't think we're gonna see him go in there for the check. I do fully believe that he's going after it. He's gonna. He has gained weight. I know he's working with Victor Conte. I'm also with Snack, so I know Victor definitely locks in, you know, when especially at a fight of that magnitude.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
And I will say it's legal, by the way, for everyone thinking we take all this stuff. Everything's legal. I've always passed my test. I'm actually very prideful on being a clean athlete. So, yeah. So I'm with Snack, and I have full belief in Victor, so I don't think there's any of that stuff going on. But with Canelo at that weight, and then I didn't really like how I didn't think Crawford looked too strong at 54. Obviously, it was, like I said, it's also his first fight at 54, and he went straight, you know, for a guy like Madrimov, which was a very solid fight, solid opponent and everything. But we're going to have to see. So that one, as a fan, I'm looking forward to seeing it, because I do think they can both pull off some like big performances.
So what round for Canelo? What do you have?
I cannot pick around.
He's a troublemaker.
I'm not a troublemaker.
He's instigating.
No, I think Canelo's gonna. I think it's gonna end early. To be honest with you, I think I see it happening in 6 to 8 rounds. 6 to 8 rounds.
That, you know, I remember, you know, Gamboa hurting Crawford back in the day. I think that was 35 or 40.
You're right. Yeah.
And that was not a weight class that Gamboa belonged at all. And obviously everybody gets caught, everybody gets hurt every now and then, but I feel like, you know, other fighters, I think even at 47, I feel like, you know, Crawford's been hurt. So that's a lot of weight you're going to have to add on, you know, to be able to hold that chin up. And I know he's probably not going to be there to get hit too much, but Canelo is Canelo. He's going to be able to find his shots eventually. So we'll see. And then, but on the flip side of that coin, Canelo hasn't gotten these big knockouts in a while. You know, he's not really knocking people out
in a long time.
In a long time.
Yeah, well, look at the guys he's fighting. He's going up, you know.
Yeah,
these are big boys. It's difference on weight.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
and this is a
big boys. That's the name.
Yeah,
that's the name we're using.
Yeah, this is a guy coming up quite a few weight classes if you consider where he started. So it'll be interesting, but I'm getting a little like shakier with that decision, but I'm still leaning towards Canelo.
Nice.
I'm excited to be there with the crowd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How loud that crowd is going to be.
Oh, I think it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be amazing.
So you've been in Vegas for how long now? You came in
2018.
2018.
Yeah, it was late 2018.
Okay, so from New Mexico, Albuquerque, right? What was that transition like?
Yeah.
It was crazy. You know, taking a big chance, because Vegas, coming from New Mexico, Vegas is like that scary, unknown, like, oh, that's where all like the top fighters are at, the top. Like, a lot of people... And not even that they were telling me. It's like a general belief. And I know it's not just New Mexico. It's a lot of small towns like that. That, you know, when you go to Vegas, they just use you for sparring. You know, you're going to, like, take a lot of punishment and stuff. And because there is even fighters, I won't name them, but there is fighters that came to Vegas and they went back to New Mexico, like, and pretty punch drunk. But I feel like that's also credit to just their careers in general. Like, it's not, you can't just blame that on the sparring. But
sure.
It's the way that they carried themselves. But you guys tell me if I start speaking slow. I feel like
no, you sound perfectly fine now. So prior to 2008, you must have been spending time down here sparring, because you weren't getting a lot of sparring in Albuquerque, were you?
Thankfully, I had solid sparring. Like, I even credit Tim Means. He's in the UFC.
Yes.
He's one. I think he's like one of the longest contracts in the UFC. He's a 6'2" southpaw that fights. Like, he's a striker in the UFC. And I always feel like that was the universe lining me up, because I used all the work that I got with him with this 6'6" southpaw that fights in boxing. So I feel like that tall southpaw that actually comes forward, I was already used to those types of looks. So I did there's a lot of solid work in New Mexico.
Really?
We just don't get the light as much. I always tell people Albuquerque's basically Vegas, but without the strip. So, you know, like, there's not that attention. Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, a lot of the city, even like some of the streets when I first moved here, they looked really similar. It's just there's definitely more culture in New Mexico. Like,
what?
It's very.
I need to go.
Oh yeah, you've never been to Albuquerque?
No, I just know that it's like what, chilies, a lot of chilies out there, right? That's all. That's as far as I know.
And hot air balloons.
Sunflowers, I think. Yeah, that's all I know.
I actually just I helped Mario Barrios. I keep saying his full name, but I helped Mario drive out back to San Antonio to take his car back after this fight, and I actually got him to stop in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Las Cruces, New Mexico. Nice.
I had to put him onto a Blake's breakfast burrito. I was super hyped about that just because you brought up the green chili. And he loved it. He said it's valid. He gave it that stamp.
Wait, so what is it? A what?
It's a breakfast burrito from New Mexico. And that is one thing. So a lot of times I don't always recommend going to New Mexico because of the crime. It's not the safest place. but the food out there is worth it. Like the food, 100%. Yeah, anywhere you go in New Mexico, like new Mexican restaurant, not just Mexican, new Mexican restaurants, it's like you got like little abuelita in the back cooking it. Like the
Oh
food
my
is
gosh,
good.
I had no clue. I never knew that. So, speaking of foods, you mentioned it's like a wet burrito or a chili burrito.
No, I mean they do have a lot of smothered burritos, but it's green chili in the burrito.
In the burrito.
Yeah, and it's not super spicy. I don't know if you like spicy food.
I
but
do.
Green chili is a full spectrum. There's also red chili. It's a full spectrum, so you can get like that lava, like burn your everything.
Why is he so excited right now? He didn't have lunch or what?
I am too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's one thing I always vouch for, and no one has ever like argued differently. The food from New Mexico is unmatched. For
That's
sure.
great.
Oh
That's
man,
great.
I gotta go out there.
Yeah, you know what? And I mean, no disrespect to Vegas and the Mexican food. I found a couple spots here and there.
Yeah.
But how would you compare it to New Mexico? Just
I
like the
wouldn't.
food. Yeah. you
No,
can't.
no way. And when I mean there's more culture in New Mexico, is because the culture stands out, but it's because Vegas is such a melting pot.
Yes.
So there's technically more cultures, but culture, where like you see like the adobe houses that are built, like
Yeah.
I
of
can
course.
tell you don't go to the
That's
east side.
awesome.
Neither one of you guys go to the east side. I could tell because I guarantee you will find so many good Mexican restaurants out
Really?
there and a lot of culture. Absolutely.
Sounds like she's taking us out to dinner one of these nights.
Yeah,
haven't
if you
found
go
it.
to Chinatown, you can find like some stuff there. But as a city, as a whole, like nothing stands out.
You don't go to the east side.
Maybe the sushi. Sushi stands out.
I have
Yeah,
a
the
lady
sushi
who makes a
stands
raspado from her house. I have another lady who makes tortillas from her house. I have another lady who makes churros from her house. Like, you just got to know the right places.
Yeah, but out of an Adobe hut,
Close enough.
like in New Mexico.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So what was it like as so you started late, right?
Mm-hmm.
In boxing we considered it really late.
Was it
Yeah.
14?
15.
Yeah, it was like 15 going on 16 when,
Oh,
when I
wow.
got started.
Oh yeah, that's really late.
Yeah.
Yeah, and part of the reason my work ethic came in because I knew I wasn't going to catch up to these guys' experience, at least not at that point. Not in the amateurs for sure. So I always said I'm not going to have that experience, but I'm going to work harder than you. That was my thing. Literally, since I was an amateur, I have to work harder than these guys to catch up somehow because I knew how much of a gap.
That is insane. Nobody knows what, like, most kids that age don't know what they want to be when they grow up, and you already had that mindset at that age.
I do. I'm very blessed. Like I don't take that for granted at all because I see, even when I try to think of what else I would be doing, I don't have an answer.
I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask
Yeah.
you
What
that.
else?
Like,
Yeah.
what
Tell
else?
us.
There is, like, say I went to the University of New Mexico for like about a year and a half, and even that revolved around boxing. I said, okay, fine, I'll go, because they had a lottery, so it was free.
What?
Yeah, so it was paid for and everything. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna study nutrition because that'll help me with boxing. I want to
Okay.
learn more about that. I hated nutrition, so I switched it over. I was like, business. Like I'll at least get my business
For
like, stuff
everything.
straight. Hated that. And then the only thing I could say I had a little bit of interest in was psychology classes. I took some psychology courses and I thought those were fun. I'm very interested in how the mind works, how people react to stuff, like body language stuff, just all that whole like side of things. But I didn't, that was actually right before I took a break, which I'm still on from college.
So you can go back.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Wow.
I could. It's
Do you see
just-
yourself going back when boxing's over, down the road?
Not really, because at this point, I feel like I've seen other avenues where I could make a good salary and everything, even outside of boxing. Which things I'm still looking into this day. Not that like I have it all figured out, but I just feel like the whole getting a degree because you need that's the only way to be successful. I feel like nowadays it's not so true.
I agree.
So
What do
black and
you,
white.
not to keep bringing him up, but what do you think Fundora is going to school for? I don't know if that's been public.
I don't know.
What's the reason? Like, why would someone go to college?
To hide from
after
you?
that?
You said it, not me. Yeah. I mean, yeah, besides, I was going to make a little joke about that, but I mean, I know deep inside I'm so programmed that you were supposed to go to college, you were supposed to go this route. We do have a deep programming, so that is a part of it. The only reason I went to college in the first place was because of that. I was never interested. I never had a passion for anything that I was doing in school. I just wasn't interested. And as soon as I found boxing, and that's what I was talking about, where I am blessed because I found that, and it was a corny cliche, whatever you want to say. As soon as I walked into a gym for the first time, which wasn't even a gym, by the way. It was a garage with a cut rug that was the ring. So
what?
Like, yeah, every time you stepped out of the ring, you had to stop, and go back into the.
How'd you even step into this garage?
It was some friends in like freshman year of high school. We had like a weird school where it was like 8th and 9th grade separate. It was just a school for them. I don't know what the point of that was. They don't even have it anymore. They call it the mid-high. It was when I was at the mid-high, and I had some friends that were boxing. They were, getting into it, and it just started to pique my interest a little bit. And we actually talked a little off camera about, growing up with boxing dads, boxing family.
Yeah.
And that's what it was for me. My dad was a huge boxing fan. Little known fact, he almost named me Oscar because he was such a big boxing fan.
My favorite fighter in the world.
Yeah.
Oscar De La Hoya.
Definitely, yeah. Especially like during that era.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oscar was untouchable.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And then, funny enough, though, when I was growing up, I wasn't interested in boxing. Like, we would go to fight parties every weekend, always,
Oh my gosh.
something. And yeah, I would like watch for a little bit and stuff, but it wouldn't call. And I started seeing fights like Mayweather, Gaddy, and even some of the Klitschko, which weren't the most exciting fights, but those knockouts were definitely like they would just topple these heavyweights. I started seeing fights like that. I was like, okay, like just a little more interested over time.
Ward Gotti.
Yeah,
all those.
for sure.
Yeah. Ward Gotti.
Yeah, that entire era was just
amazing.
insane.
You mentioned your name. You almost got named Oscar, but I don't think I know the story of how your nickname La Bala came.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually from my. I say original, but that garage that I went into was actually Adam Archuleta, the brother of Frankie Archuleta, a champion from New Mexico, and I went from him. I started leveling up a little at like. Because he had amateurs, to a certain point, and then I went to a different coach, and I ended up with Fidel Maldonado in Albuquerque. And like since I started so late, nobody knew who I was, even in the amateurs or anything. So I started getting these knockouts. I was learning pretty quick. I started getting these knockouts, and there's a little buzz, going how it does through the amateurs. And so he started calling me his secret weapon. And it literally stemmed from that. Like, I was a secret weapon, just
the bullet.
These knockouts,
bullet.
I was traveling.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and then eventually, I don't know how he came up with it, but he's the one that gave me that original secret weapon, and then it turned into La Bala. And it stuck because I feel like it's natural. Like, people call me, like, oh, Bala. Like, they'll say that in the streets, and it doesn't come off as, like, a cliche, like, WWE type of like, character name,
I think when I first saw you, I was like, oh, you're like, do you know him? I was like, yeah, La Bala. Like,
yeah. I love the way that it rolls off the tongue more, so I kept it through the pros, and it feels very natural, and it's always been pretty fitting, so I stuck with it. But that was a little origin story.
Nice.
Wow.
So let's get back to when you first started. Again, you were 15. You stepped into this garage, right? I mean, how quickly after were you in your first amateur fight?
That one actually, it took about a year, I think. Especially getting like my dad's confidence to let me even fight, because I had to beg. I would have started boxing a year or so sooner, but I had to beg. My dad would not. Neither of my parents. To this day, he tells me the day you want to quit, like go ahead and like it's totally like they were not. Yeah, they were not with it.
Well, we don't ever hear that from dads in this world.
Yeah,
it's usually the opposite.
I own boxing gyms in California and here in Las Vegas. I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't like there's like no other sport.
Oh no.
Right. It's like no other sport.
Yeah, and even that, like it's the only type of sport that I had a calling for. I've never liked team sports, because like say basketball, I didn't play on like the teams or anything in school, but I would always play like at lunch or whatever in high school, and it was either like I'm either overly aggressive or not aggressive enough, and it was like a very like give and take. Like, oh well, this guy's doing this, not like it
you
was
can't
never,
really control. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very in control. I like being in control. And I like win or lose, it's on me.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I have my team, yes, whatever, but you can go back and like even look at the fights I've won as well as the fights I've lost. I don't blame anybody else. I give thanks, credit where credit is due, but I never like, oh, this trainer did this guy did this person in camp didn't carry their weight.
Accountability.
I'm in there, and I think that's what's gotten me to this point, because I'm self-aware to that point.
I want to go back to the food subject, because that's what got me excited earlier. I'm always asking all of my boxer friends this. Like, what do you like? Are there rules, especially when you're not in camp, on how you eat, what you cannot eat? Do you limit yourself? What does that look like?
The only like, I've been pretty good over the years. Like in the amateurs, I gave up sodas. Like I used, because the tournaments are like every 2 weeks, so it was like back to back.
Okay.
So I used that to quit drinking like sodas, because I was always drinking like Sprite and like candy and stuff like
Straight
that.
sugar, yeah.
Yeah. So over the years, I did actually get rid of some stuff, but I've always had a pretty bad sweet tooth. So yeah, like ice cream, candy.
That makes
like,
3 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get rid of all that.
Look at him. He's excited too.
Total sweet tooth.
Yeah, I definitely have a love for food. I'm not one of those people that will tell you like I can just eat salads all the time. Like when I'm not in camp, do not put a salad in front of me. Like
Okay.
yeah, I get sick of it. But I will say over time I've found like I eat healthy food that tastes good. I don't eat like a rabbit, and it helps obviously as much as I work, you know, to keep it balanced. But I do eat a lot. And it's just healthy, like even like today, you know, I had my oatmeal with a bunch of like cinnamon cinnamon honey, my protein that tastes good, not just some junky like whatever.
Yeah.
It has to. I'll make it taste good somehow. And then I went to Greens and Proteins, which I'm there like every day. I have like a chicken wrap, you know, and stuff like that. But it tastes good. I'm not eating rabbit food. My sweet potato fries that I eat like on the daily, and so stuff like that. But yeah, like on the weekends, like. I'll stop by like Sorry Not Sorry, have some ice cream.
I still haven't been there.
Oh,
So
yeah,
what's
you're
your
missing out.
what's your walking around weight right now?
My walking around weight? Usually like heaviest, I'll hit like 20, but like low 70s. Yeah, like low 70s, high 60s or whatever, kind of maintaining.
Is that where you really need to be to step back in if you got called in for an opportunity with short notice?
I just try to keep it kind of healthy. Like, I'll even say I'm kind of vain. So like I'll keep myself lean because of that. Like I want to like look good, you know. Like I'm trying to like keep myself in shape.
Kinda.
Me
not so much.
Just a but that's what helps me. So I don't blow up. You won't really see me get fat. You know, like a lot of fighters in the off season. So I don't really have to worry about that. Yeah. So I don't usually have to worry about that. Like but as soon as I get a call, you know, for a fight or any notice or anything, I'll tighten up the count. No more cereal. No more like ice cream, stuff like that. Those are the other things I'll cut out. But I'll cut like 4 or 5 pounds, honestly, just off like once you balance your diet, and those first few pounds come off right away, and then I'm in that healthy range. And yeah, but it's another reason you guys see me training so hard so often.
To keep up with the food.
So you were talking about Oscar De La Hoya earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite fighter of all time? Let's give us your top 3 all-time greatest fighters.
Top 3. So my favorite fighter, just because I've loved studying him, I've learned so much from him. My favorite fighter is actually Andre Ward.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of anyone saying.
No,
I'm saying I
he's in
haven't
my
heard of
top
someone.
3.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
know
absolutely.
Okay,
I'm a little
okay.
biased because I work with them, you know, in California.
Oh, I did not know that either.
Yeah. You know, back early in the day, you know, prior to the Super 6. I don't know if you remember the Super 6.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of when I got put on to him.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I learned because he's like Hopkins, he's Roy Jones, he's a couple heavyweights kind of mixed in. So I was kind
All
of
of
doing a
them.
cheat code. I was studying him and getting his habits, which came from all these other fighters. So that's usually like how I'll get into it. Like I'm studying this guy because he studies so much fighters. And yeah, so I don't know. For top 3, it honestly always changes. But top 3, I still have so Ward is always my top 1, and then Mayweather, and then the third will always kind of like interchange. Like whether I'm into like slick fighters right now, like bangers like Mike Tyson and stuff like that, or like movers. So that it's always kind of shifting. It's kind of whatever I'm feeling in like that moment, I guess.
Nice. So you mentioned you were back in Oakland working with Barrios. So with Virgil Hunter, would you work with Ward during that at any point?
So Ward never came in during that time, but it was surreal to be training in that gym because it was his gym, and Virgil Hunter was damn near a mentor without even ever meeting him, just because I was studying him so much.
Constantly analyzing,
And I was actually telling Mario that's how I found out who he was, because I was studying Virgil Hunter, I was studying Andre Ward, and when Mario made the switch over to Virgil Hunter, I started watching him because he's learning control, he's learning this right now.
Yeah.
He got this move from Virgil Hunter, so it's just my studying side. And so then being able to train there at the gym, and Virgil Hunter did give me some advice, some things here and there. And So yeah, that was surreal. That was
Was Amir Khan there? Was Amir there at that point?
No, it was pretty like low key, pretty private at that point. I think at that point a lot of the other fighters, like I know Mario brings up, like Peter Quillen was there, Amir Khan was there, tons of European fighters, you know, the mix. Obviously Andre Ward, so he got to see more of that. But no, when I was there, it was pretty much just Mario. It was pretty much like his gym at the time. They were locked in with him, and he was the only one in camp. So
Bob was headed up there. He was working with them at the time as well. Bob Santos. It just started. I think he was working the corner. I mean, I think Virgil was still in first position.
Yeah, it was still at that point. And then Mario just came over to Vegas one time, and Luis de Cubas Jr. set up the sparring for us, and we like chemistry. You know, we hit chemistry off. The sparring was worked. They thought I was a good look for Thurman, and then they asked if I would go over to Oakland for it, and I was like, absolutely. You know, thought it was a great opportunity.
That's great.
You know what we haven't talked about? We haven't talked about the fans. What is it like? What is it like to like hear people recognize who you are, seeing people wanting them to take pictures with you, having a fan base now?
It is crazy, and it's a good feeling though. Like I'm super grateful. I try to never, you know, turn anyone down for a picture, autograph, or whatever. Like my team, actually in Australia, my team was getting mad at me because even when I was like getting dehydrated, you know, I'm cutting weight, I wasn't feeling too hot, but I stayed for like hours. Like I would stay for an hour after, like say the weigh-ins or whatever, or not the weigns, like a
press conference or
the media workouts,
yeah,
all that stuff. I was stuck there because Australia is actually very supportive.
Oh,
like,
totally.
Their fan base is crazy
Huge.
out there.
Wow.
Love boxing. They love boxing out there.
Yeah, actually, I had random people in the street just come, oh my god, and they would bring up like Johnny Tapia, that they were his fans. So even being like compared, you know, in the same sentence, you know, with stuff like that, it was surreal.
Wow.
But I'm always grateful for, you know, all the fans. So as much as I can give back and just, you know, give you like a few seconds, you know, a little conversation or something, like it is surreal because growing up, those are like part of the things that you wanted.
That you look forward to, absolutely.
Exactly, yeah. So I feel like a lot of people forget that sometimes because it can't, like, say in times like that, you know, I'm focused on the fight. I'm not feeling good. I'm cutting weight. And so there's like several times where you don't want to, but I try to think back to that, you know, the kid in me that was like, hey, like this is what you wanted all these years, you know. So like, I'll always give people the time of day.
Nice.
If you could, and I might get you on the spot here, but if there's anything, like, what's one thing that you feel like most people don't know about you?
Yeesh. Definitely on the spot.
Got some dark secrets going on in there, swimming around in his head. Yeah, tell us about what's going on.
Yeah, not really. Like, it's just outside of that, because like as much as I do talk, like I'll give the fans the time. I'm a very big introvert. Like I don't.
What?
Yeah, it's very easy for me to like lock down. I don't want to go out. Like I don't. Like I always talk. Like back in New Mexico, I never partied. I went to maybe like 2 house parties. Like, I came to Vegas when I was like 25, 26. I'm a huge introvert. Like I don't like going out. I don't like doing stuff.
Really?
That's a surprise factor. I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah.
You just stay indoors looking at yourself in the mirror?
Very funny.
I do.
Right? I'm like, maybe yes, but you know, we don't need to talk about that. No, yeah. It's just like I'll be like watching TV or something, or like just hanging out, but I would like to like hang out with my friends, you know, like I'll call Mario, I'll call the homie like Abram Martinez. Like, we'll all hang out, but even that, like, I can count my circle on one hand. Mm-hmm. And even to this day, even through, like, all the people I know and that I'm very cool with, but I still have that inner circle. Just, like, I can be very closed off. So, I can open up, obviously, you know, for, like, to talk to people. And because I am a professional athlete, I do have to, like, you know, be a public, like...
People person.
Yeah, public
figure,
person. Yeah. But there you go, that's the word. So yeah, it's kind of a mix, but I'm very much an introvert.
I love how he just casually mentioned these names. Yeah, I like to hang out with my friends, Mario Barrios, Abraham Martinez. You're just like,
hang out.
I have cool friends. What can I say?
Just throwing it in there.
These guys are here every day in the ring at the gym. We see them every day.
Yeah, so
you know,
great
and it's such a great atmosphere when I look down there and I see you guys all together. You could just
Yeah.
the chemistry. It's just
Exactly.
what a great place it's to walk in, knowing you're around people that love you and care about you and want to
That's
see you
the thing.
succeed.
Yeah, they have like they have the same vision, the same things. Like even outside of boxing, we agree on a lot of the same stuff, and we're not afraid to not agree on stuff either. I feel like that's why I say like my friends, because a lot of people will just become like yes men around you, and not even because you're hitting a certain level of fame, just because you're like even a little bit or like whatever you're into. People do get caught into that and like, oh well, we're friends, so we have to agree on everything. Like no, we don't. So yeah, so that's another thing. Like we'll roast each other. We'll like there's a lot of positive and negatives, but yeah, no, for the most part, like those are my people.
Is there anything that you want to say to your fans right now, or even to your family right now? And this is your opportunity to tell them whatever you want.
No, I mean, for the most part, like I said, I'm just really locked in, on getting these next fights lined up. I do believe I'm going to be in another big fight before the year's out. So yeah, just I appreciate you guys, staying along for the ride. This is it's not over yet, and we have a lot to accomplish still. So I appreciate you guys. I love all the love and appreciation and everything, and I'm gonna do my part, to make it worth it.
Great.
Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for coming on to the show. We appreciate it.
Anytime.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure talking to you guys.
Yeah. So we're checking out from Boxing VIP at the Pound for Pound Gym in Las Vegas, Nevada.
The boxing capital of the world.
Thank you, Brian, for coming out. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Tell me what you really, really